But in an industry like ours, where there's more male than women, in order to have good work and life balance, the support of the company and the institutions are very important, and the corporate culture is very important. Good afternoon. I am Misun from POSCO ENC. I am proud and honored to take part in this important event with so many distinguished leaders, and I would like to thank UN Women for giving me this opportunity. So I'm not that tech savvy, it seems, using the pointer, but let me introduce myself first. There are two keywords I can use to describe myself: 31 years in construction, 28 years in purchasing. A lot of people ask me, are you married? Do you have children? Yes, I'm married. I have 2 daughters. And have you worked only in POSCO ENC and the construction industry? Yes. So I joined the company through an open recruiting program. I've been with the company for 31 years, but I'm not an engineer, although I work for a construction company. Because of the unique characteristics of the construction industry, there are no factories. And about 80% of the COGS for the construction lies with the suppliers or the partner companies. So what's important is the purchasing and the contract establishments, and that's what I've been doing for 28 years. There's a scale of our contracts at about 5 trillion won annually, and I'm in charge of the overall purchasing planning. So the first story that I would like to tell you about my company and my position here was that in the early 1990s, I was the first female to be in charge of purchasing within my company. And so I was able to go overseas on a business trip. But at that time, people thought it was unsafe for women to travel overseas at my company, so I had to receive special approval. But now I have gone to over 100 times overseas on a business trip. You know POSCO. POSCO has its steel business division. So we have contracts for steel, and also we have a lot of subcontracting agreements with our subcontractors for building large apartment complexes. I went out to the field to meet with the people there, and I was able to meet a lot of mentors on the field. I was able to meet with the people, the engineers, for example, and I was able to learn from them. For example, the items that I am to purchase, how to read the blueprints, and also how to calculate the items that have to be purchased, the functions of the facilities, for example. And also, when I received the certification, the Certified Purchased Manager certification in the United States, I was the first in Korea to receive this certification. And also at the age of 48, I received my MBA degree because I wanted to grow more into a business manager. So also, I was curious about how other people work in other ENC companies such as Samsung and Hyundai. So I contribute to the establishment of the Construction Outsourcing Management Association. And so I have very close ties with the members of this association. And there's about 100 people in that association, but I am the only female, so I'm a nuna, which means older sister in Korean. And after making executive position, I looked at the number of female executives in other construction companies, Samsung and Hyundai, and there were not many. So what I did was I asked the operator, and I got the number of these female executives in Samsung and Hyundai and other companies, and we have regular meetings now. The female executives. So I was the first in POSCO ENC, the first assistant manager, the first general manager, the first head of the group, and the first executive. I was a little bit late becoming an executive, but I was really touched because after I did make an executive position, I received over 300 phone calls by my fellow executives and employees within POSCO ENC. So my brand image within the company is a purchasing expert and innovative leader. So executive leadership and management is what I would like to talk about. But this is actually quite difficult to explain. So I would like to talk about this, combining it with my personal story. So, executive leadership. Now, in order to have executive leadership, I thought that professionality and networking and win-win was most important. So I would like to talk about these three elements. The professionality, this is very important to become a leader. It's actually the backbone. And already many people talked about this, but in order to have the expertise and professionalism, you need the three C's. The first C is creativity. And creativity is a lot about the input. For example, you need the information about new technologies, you need the knowledge, you need the experience, and based on that, you can achieve great performance. I personally believe there's no such thing as a eureka. I think that creativity comes when you really engage in something for a long time, when you're dedicated to that field or topic. The second C is challenge. So when you're in a meeting, you should be bold to speak up for yourself and also take action if you believe in something. In 2012, I was proposed a position in Australia. At that time, my eldest daughter was in 12th grade. My youngest daughter was in 7th grade. We had to win a contract for a mining company. It was a mining project in Australia. So I stayed there for about a year, but we were not able to win the contract. I was very disappointed. However, personally, I do believe that it was a good opportunity for me because I was able to learn about the contract laws of Australia and also the purchasing practices in Australia. Australia is very advanced in terms of the purchasing and procurement processes and systems. So after that experience, whether it was a project overseas or within Korea, I was fearless in whatever role I was given or whatever task I was given. So I was able to learn how important experiences and the knowledge is. And also, the next C is continuity. I think that if you have the experience of working in an industry where there's more male than female, you may have heard that the women sometimes suffer from imposter syndrome, which means that women tend to underestimate their capabilities. And if they do something very well, they tend to think that this is because they were lucky. However, if you look around, there are many people who are indeed working in industries where there is lower representation of women. And I believe that you are doing great, that you are all talented. And I thought I would like to hug each and every one of you. You should learn to love yourself. You should love yourself. You deserve to love yourselves. And continue to grow and continuously upgrade yourself and continue to believe in yourself and love yourself. Now I would like to talk about growth and the short path or the key to growth is networking. The shortcut to growth is networking because you can gain access to a lot of different information by meeting with various people. And number two, well, if you need creative ideas and solutions, you can receive a lot of feedback and engage in various communications so that you can try things out and see whether this will be a success before implementation. So think about the many people that you work with within your company. It's good that you have people owe you something. What I mean by owing you something is that you should invite them over to coffee or for lunch and then listen to what they have to do. So you spend time with them and you spent money on them, you've listened to them, then they owe you. So on my mobile phone, I have the contact numbers of about 1,500 people. What I do is that on their birthdays, I find an emoji that resembles that person the most. And I send that emoji with words of congratulations. So in order to maintain a good relationship, you don't have to do something grandiose. You just have to make that person feel that you really care for that person. Genuine words of support and encouragement is all that you need. Sometimes people ask me, do you need internal politics within your company? Because politics is indeed very important in Korea. You might tend to think that politics is something very negative, but politics actually is communicating with the people and winning their support for things that you want to do. So if you need to do politics, then you should engage in internal politics. What I mean is that you should continue to communicate with the relevant departments, and also you should promote the strategies of the company that you think is needed for the advancement advancement of your organization. And if indeed this is good for your organization, I'm sure that people will support you. I talked about how you should make people owe you, and they will indeed support you. So you need networking within your company, but also outside of your company as well. So you need the information, for example, and for that, you should engage in a lot of different organizations or group gatherings. For example, you can pursue your MBA degree, go for a master's degree. You can meet with people in various industries or diverse backgrounds, and they will help you grow more and enhance your competitiveness. So next, win-win. I think that win-win is the road towards maturity. What is maturity? Becoming more mature. This not only means your personal growth, but also this is growth of the overall organization, your company, and your colleagues. So it is growth in the large sense. Are you someone that people want to work with? So growing together is something that you should opt for, to work with people, to exert good influence within society, within your organization. I think that is what maturity is all about. I was a little bit nervous when I came up on stage because I'm not a really special person. So I was actually afraid that you might misunderstand me to be a special person, and that is why I was able to balance work and balance very well. But in an industry like ours, where there's more male than women, in order to have good work and life balance, the support of the company and the institutions are very important, and the corporate culture is very important. I think that the corporate culture of POSCO ENC is the biggest reason why I stand here today as an executive of this company. So let me explain a little bit about that. Within 29 years after establishment, POSCO ENC was able to become top 4 among the construction companies in Korea in terms of the construction capacity evaluations. It's an eco and challenge company. So what this means is that we have a new vision that opts to become an eco-friendly company, and we continue to challenge the way forward. So we would also like to grow with our society, and we want the people within the company to grow as well. And that is why we believe that mutual understanding and respect is very important. The gender issue is no longer an issue about male and female, but I think it's an issue of human rights. And the human rights issue of companies is directly related with the image of the company. It's directly related with the investment, the profit making, and also the attraction of talents. So for women leaders who have children, when they carry on their careers, sometimes they may be burned out, or they may think, am I going in the right direction? For example, when my first child was in 6th grade, I thought maybe I should quit my job, because in Korea, you probably know, we have a very high enthusiasm for education, and my child became the president of the school, and she was having a hard time because there was no support from her mom. So I was thinking maybe I should quit my job to support my child. It was back in the early 2000s, and there was no maternity leave or childcare leave at them. But my company said that you can take a leave of absence. You can take a leave for 6 months for your family. And now we have this charter to promote human rights, which was implemented in 2022. And we are practicing human rights-based management. And also there's a one-strike-out policy to root out harassment within the workplace. We also have a very clear roadmap for the life cycle of our employees, from marriage to pregnancy to childcare. And so aside from the legal requirements based on the Korean law, we provide additional support to our employees for work-life balance. For example, for child leave, 1 year mandatory child leave is something that the company has to give to its employees. But aside from that, we have additional year that we give to our employees. And also we have a child care center within the company. And so the parents can utilize this facility for their children. And also when there is evaluations for promotions, the period during the child care leave is not included for evaluations. And I think that these types of efforts should be expanded to other construction companies as well. And I do hope that there is more pragmatic efforts that are institutionalized to promote the work-life balance of women. So whether it's women or men, or whether you're married or not, whether you have children or not, I think that if you think about it, everyone has a responsibility, a burden that you have to really take care of. It might be work-life balance for someone. It might be the balance between your family responsibilities and your work. But I think that what we have to do as women is that we really have to make our voices be heard, be bold in telling our stories, and also make the effort to grow as executives. I think everyone has the potential to grow and deserve that opportunity. Thank you very much.